Force USA, the trusted name in strength equipment.
Alright guys, so let's have a bit of a rundown, the more advanced video of your V600. So this is the entry-level spin bike in the Vortex range. And this bad boy is going to be utilised for your domestic use. So in the home, someone that might use the spin bikes in the gym setting, they also want the availability or the opportunity to be able to use a spin bike, a good quality spin bike in the home at a good price point. So we'll start at the bottom and work our way up. So obviously at the front here you can see we've got wheels. So that's obviously going to make the bike a lot easier to move around. I'll just show you that quickly. So it's just a matter of placing a little bit of pressure with your foot on the front of the crossbar there, leaning it over until the majority of the weight is pivoted on the wheels. And as you can see, I can sort of hold that with one hand pretty easily and then move it around, forward, back, under the bed, no, not under the bed, wherever you want to put it. All right. Moving back, you can see that quite a high-grade steel has been utilised all the way through the frame. Got nice weld contacts with the steel, and it's got plenty of bracing, so it's going to be nice and sturdy and definitely enough for that domestic use. We've got adjustable feet at the back here, so they're just on a thread which adjusts the height of these up and down. Let's carry on up. So we've got the this is the crank. So this is what's termed a three-piece crank. So three pieces include obviously your separate arms or shafts that connect to the pedals on either side, and then you've got your internal crank, which is then distributes the load that you're generating, pushing through the crank through a chain, because it's chain driven, and into your flywheel. So the flywheel on the V600 is 18 kilograms. So the weight of the flywheel is what's going to create the inertia when you start pedaling and gives it a nice momentum. So the heavier the flywheel, generally the more inertia and the smoother the ride's going to feel. All right. Now the braking system. So we've got these, I'll just turn it so you can see it a bit better. You can see we've got, it's just like on a standard bike, we've got the two like calipers either side that have a felt pad on each one, and they just press in, obviously creates friction, which slows down the wheel. So I'll just get that going a little bit, and I'm just going to show you the emergency stop. All I need to do is just pull that up. As you can see, they came together, created the friction on the flywheel, which stopped it. All right, I'll just turn it again and show you that again. So we get the flywheel going, and here's the emergency stop. It's just a matter of pulling that up, creates the friction on the flywheel and stops it. Now I'll just jump on it quickly. This is set up. Yeah, that's a pretty good setup for my height actually. So as we're pedaling along here, we've got our knob which adjusts the tension. So all that's doing is as I turn this knob clockwise, it's increasing the tension. I'll just show you, I'll just lean it over so the cameraman can see that. So we've got the plus and the minus. So obviously the arrow indicates plus, so as I'm turning it clockwise it's going to increase tension. Minus, as I'm turning it anti-clockwise, it's going to reduce that tension. So all that's happening is, you might not be able to see it because it's quite micro movements, but as I'm turning that knob clockwise to increase the tension, these pads are actually starting to come and make contact with the flywheel. So when they make contact with the flywheel, it creates that friction, which obviously increases the resistance that is going through the flywheel, through your crank, and then obviously vice versa into your legs. All right, so in a spin class or when someone's training, they're on the bike, they're cranking along, this is sort of like a free spin. So there's not a lot of tension. I haven't really touched that too much, and there's very little friction being added to that flywheel. So as I increase that knob and turn it up, you can see that it starts to get a lot harder on my legs, all right, having to work a lot harder. So I've even can get off that seat there to generate more force so I can get that work done. Alright, so that's an idea of how to adjust that. Obviously it comes with a drink bottle holder, so this LE drink bottle comes as standard in the box, and then from there moving on up to the digital readout. So we've got a computer up here, so as I'm going along, display that it's showing, it's giving me a readout of my speed, obviously the time that I've been exercising, distance, the amount of calories that are burnt, an odometer, and a pulse. So we've got the heart rate monitor optimized for this, so we've got the two sensors either side. Can you see both? So we've got one sensor here, and all that does is obviously detect your pulse. So a user just has to put their hands on those, it's going to start to pick up my pulse, and then it will display that on screen. So heart rate is quite important during training, especially your cardiovascular training, which is predominantly what you're doing on a spin bike. It can be utilized for recovery and also gives you a good idea of the intensity level that you're going at. Alright, so let's have a look at the adjustment points. So it's got a V-lock system on here on the forward and the aft of the spin bike, giving a forward and back movement. So if I loosen this all the way, you can see that it's quite easy to move forward and back. Obviously, if you've got a taller user, this seat is going to have to come up to accommodate the long levers in their legs. So that's quite simple to adjust too. So we've got a simple pop pin. So you just loosen that enough, and then it's spring loaded. So you pull that out. As you can see, it's quite easy to move. So a bit of maintenance, just touch on maintenance here. Just silicone spray on a rag, wipe that, just make it nice and smooth movement there. So it's nice and easy to adjust, as you can see. So it's important to note once you're in your final position, we want to give that a couple of turns to tighten it, make sure it's nice and tight. We've also got an adjustment point here for the seat forward and back. Alright, so same sort of thing. So obviously an individual that's, let's say we'll set up for a tall fella, a tall individual. Because with the angle of the seat's pushing back, obviously then this needs to be customizable in forward and back movement as well, so it gives a completely anatomical position for riding. Alright, so as mentioned, we've got that movement there, forward and back. I'll just go over it again. Up and down movement here, forward and aft movement on the handlebars, and we've also got this here, up and down. So there's almost 4 points of contact, of dials, sorry, that you can adjust the distances between the seat and the arms, so to accommodate people of multiple heights, etc. So we've got our plastic guard here, so that's going over the chain, so that's protect that and stop any dust getting in that, reduce any maintenance that you may have to do. Maintenance, you may need to oil the chain every now and then just to make sure that it's staying nice and smooth. As well as that, we can look at our pedals here. So we've just got a standard hook-through system here, and then on the other side of it is actually optimized for cleats. So if you've got those keen riders that do have cleats on their cycling shoes, they can click in there as well, and they should be all universal. Alright, so that's a touch on the V600. It's a great spin bike for domestic use. Warranty on this bad boy is a lifetime structural, 12 months on parts, and 90 days on any upholstery. Thanks, guys.
Force USA, the trusted name in strength equipment. Now available at forcefitnessequipment.com.